Andrew Makuba tells under the face mask or behind the face mask or something behind the face mask, I've got the link below, why he left Clemson. And I think it gives us a good idea into, I don't know, the mindset of some of the players. But before I get to that, welcome to the channel. I'm Brian. I'm glad I'm glad that you're here. I'm seeing some people get in here. I started this video just a second ago and the audio was not working. But anyway, we got that fixed now. Hey, listen, I hope you'll subscribe because, well, it's free and it's the easiest way to support the channel. If you like talking Clemson football and talking about other teams, college football in general, I am here and hoping to serve. Anyway, whatever that means, that's weird. I'm in a quirky mood today, but I'm going to dive right into the reason why you clicked into this video. Why did Andrew Makuba leave? Now, I have the video below this where he talks to, I think it's called Behind the Mask. And the video, I think, is 15 to 17 minutes long. So you can see this for yourself. If you want to watch the whole thing, you can watch it. But I'm going to give you the time to go to if you want to hear him make the statements that I'm about to cover. If you go to roughly the 9-minute and 50-second section of the video and run it up to about, 10:15, 10:20, you'll hear him make this comment. And to me, it really, really stuck out. His mindset and what could be the mindset of other players, because it's always interesting to have, and I'm going to give this commentary, I'll get right to the point, okay? I know some of you are like, get to the point. All right, I just want to say this before I read what he said. I always hear from my side of things being here on YouTube, well, you're not part of the team. You're not at the practices. You're not in the locker room. You don't know. Well, to hear from a guy who was at Clemson, who had so much success. In fact, they talk about his accolades. I mean, the guy was Mr. Everything. He was killing it in his freshman season. And then something happened. I know he had some injuries, but something happened. And he left, and Texas was more than happy to pick him up. Now, of course, he is from that Austin, Texas area. He has a relationship with the guy that's his, I believe, his defensive back coach. I think that was his high school coach, if my memory serves me correct. So there's a lot of reasons. Family in that area. I think somebody said he has a child in that area. But I'm going to read to you now what Andrew Makuba said, and you can look this up on the link below between the 9-minute and 50-second mark in 10:15. I wasn't being pushed enough to where I could reach my potential and my peak. I feel like the program wasn't where it needed to be for me and the whole team to be successful. So I felt like after my junior year, I felt like it was always the same thing. After that, it was only right for me to transfer. Now, I provided this video link for you to go see it for yourself. Now, you could say, Brian, when you read that, you read it differently than what he said it. He said it in a very passive, you could tell the guy was uncomfortable talking about it. But I think he told the truth. Now, let's pause there. Do I think Mike Reed is a bad defensive back coach? No, I don't. No, I don't. Mike Reed has coached some really good defensive backs. Now, had this been a wide receiver saying this, I would be like, I don't know. Maybe in Andrew's opinion, Mike Reed's supposed to push him more. I don't know. I mean, that's what it sounds like. But Mike Reed has coached some really, really good players during this entire time at Clemson and has seen incredible success. Like, one of the main reasons that Clemson didn't go 6-6 last year was the defense. Can you imagine if our defense had no identity? Can you imagine what would have happened? They'd have lost to Wake Forest, definitely. They'd probably lost to South Carolina. I mean, I could go down that road, and that's not the subject of this, but it is part of the subject. When you hear Reed, whatever, Andrew Makuba say, so I felt like after my junior year, I felt like it was always the same thing. After that, it was only right for me to transfer. After your junior year, it was the same thing. Well, let's think about how many years he played at Clemson. When did he start playing at Clemson? He started against Georgia in 2021. Does that time frame ring any bells for anyone? That was the first year that we lost what? 3 games? Next year, lost 3 games. This past season, lost 4. Do you get what he's talking about? So I felt like after my junior year, I felt like it was always the same thing. What was the same thing? Go to the line before. I feel like the program wasn't where it needed to be for me and the whole team to be successful. Okay? The defense, here's one part where I have friction with this statement. The defense was working. Nate Wiggins, remember, Nate Wiggins in his second year went out and played against Wake Forest, and Wake Forest absolutely annihilated that kid. I mean, destroyed Nate Wiggins. Made him look ridiculous. What did Nate Wiggins do? He probably watched the film, probably went back to his dorm or apartment, whatever, probably was embarrassed, probably felt sick on his stomach, and then went, time to fix it. Have you ever had one of those moments in your life? I know I have. Where you step back and you look at everything, and some things are totally out of your control. Some things you've done all you know to do, but then there are some things that you need to fix. And you have to step up. Nate Wiggins did that. So the only rub that I have here is when I look at he wasn't being pushed as much as he should be pushed. I don't know if that is true. I just know that Clemson has a pretty good reputation for having really good defensive backs. We've had some good defensive backs at Clemson. We can talk about the defensive line and the linebackers. We've had some really good defensive backs at Clemson. You know it. I know it. All God's children knows it. So I don't know what the deal was there. Now, he went on to say, hey, the coaches were supportive and yada, yada, yada. I get it, all right? I get it. But that statement that he said, I don't know. And JR said, hey, it's not Mike Reed, it's Mickey Kahn. Maybe it is Mickey Kahn, and I misspoke. Either way, he has a bunch of coaches around him who has been one of the only things that is working for Clemson. The defense has been one of the only things working for Clemson. But if you notice his verbiage. I feel like the program wasn't where it needed to be for me and the whole team to be successful. The whole team. The whole team. He did not say unit. He did not say the defense. He said the whole team to be successful, and he follows it up with one of the most... I'm trying to think of a really nice way to say this. This would be like the smoking gun. So I felt like after my junior year, I felt like it was always the same thing. Have you ever been in a position like that, folks? You give your best efforts, whether it's at work, maybe it's in an organization you're part of, maybe you were part of a team, maybe it was some goal that you had, and you didn't give it the old college try. You really tried, You were all in, not to be sarcastic. You put everything into it. And just after a certain amount of time, you step back and you go, man, this is the same thing every year. And in fact, it just got worse. Right? Right? I've been there. Until you finally step back and you say, you know what? I'm not going to wait to see if this pans out, because if it doesn't pan out, the team is not just paying for it, I am paying for it. And you may have your feelings on the transfer portal and Andrew Makuba and the real reason why he went to Texas, and we could fill in the blanks, and you might be right, you might be wrong, we both might be. It might be one of those things where two things are true at the same time, where it's kind of both. But that statement, because I went back and I listened to this interview. I listened to it. And when he said that, I sat straight up. I went, uh-oh. I feel like the program wasn't where it needed to be for me and the whole team to be successful. Well, Brian, that's just one guy. And you got to understand that. I mean, I don't know if you saw our record last year and the record the year before that and the year before that. All you have to do is listen to him and say, after my junior year, I felt like it was always the same thing. I think he told you why. I think if you'll stop doing the Tiger rag, humming the Tiger rag, doing the chant, doing the cheer, and I love my Tigers too, you read that and you realize that there's probably some guys who are sitting in there working out right now who are really good ball players. And for good reasons or bad reasons, if 2024 does not end up where it should turn out. And I'm going to do my prediction on Clemson very, very soon. I'm just trying to get through camp right now to see if anyone gets hurt, namely Cade Klubnik. But that's another topic. But for good reasons or bad reasons, they're going to look at this season. If it does not turn out well, and you're going to see more people who are good players join Andrew Makuba. Because maybe they might think, after my junior year or after my sophomore year, I felt like it was always the same thing. After my senior year, but I have 1 year of eligibility left for some reason. It was, the prior 4 years was always the same thing. We were supposed to band together. We were supposed to do this. We were supposed to do that. We were talking about 16. We were talking about 18. And there was turmoil around us, but we were just like, hey, haters are going to hate. But we're literate. We can actually read our win-loss column. And that impacted this guy. He was a freshman All-American. The guy was unbelievable. He was very, very talented. And, he was a freshman All-American. The guy was unbelievable. It was just really interesting to hear from him. Now, folks, I just want to ask you this. I have a lot of people in here, a lot of different opinions, a lot of different thoughts. Again, hope you'll subscribe. It's free, and it's the easiest way to support the channel. I do appreciate it. Just crossed 4,000 subscribers and barreling towards 4,100. I appreciate everyone who is subscribing. That's really, really awesome. Drop down here, drop in the comment section. Let me know, what do you think? Do you think that it was the money that drove him? That we heard that money pulled him back to Austin. He did mention in this interview, by the way, that Oregon was in the running. But Austin, Texas pulled him in. And we've heard about he has a child down there. He has family down there. He played football down there. The guy that I think is his defensive back coach, correct me if I'm wrong. This guy, he used to coach him in high school. There was a lot of factors pulling him to Texas. And we get it. Is he just saying whatever here? Or do you think that two things can be true at one time? The money did pull him. The family did pull him. He was legitimately fed up with 10-3 and 9-4. Just let me know. Just let me know what you think. Drop it in the comment section or a live chat. I look forward to seeing y'all. Y'all take care of yourselves. Hey, college football season's almost here. As always, go Tigers.